Well, good evening again, YouTube. Welcome to Sheepdog Preparedness. Got Kenny back with you. First of all, I wanted to start out tonight's video by saying thanks to everybody who's been watching and sharing and subscribing. Passed the first milestone on the channel today, thanks to everybody, and that was the 100 subscriber mark. As soon as you pass that mark, YouTube treats that as kind of a magical spot, and you get to pick out a username. So now you can access the channel at youtube.com/sheepdogpreparedness. So that's pretty cool, and thanks for that. Next big step is hitting the 10,000 views. I think I'm setting at like 6,000 something views total on all my videos. When you hit 10,000 views, then YouTube starts monetizing your videos, and so that'll be cool. Continue sharing, continue giving me your ideas on what you'd like to see covered on topics, and give me your input on the videos that are out there. Tonight, I felt the need to talk about what was going on in the news today. Everybody who's been anywhere near a TV has probably heard about what the Dow did today, passing that 23,000 mark, which is a big milestone, something that it's never done before. And wanted to talk a little bit about where I think that's going, and why that's something that deserves watching very, very closely. You've heard me talk about before that my personal feelings are that what I think more than anything will probably bring on SHTF scenario for America would be an economic collapse. That would be the fastest way for them to be able to bring the system to its knees and cause those who are not prepared to become immediately dependent on the government. And it would give them, it would open the doorway for them to do a lot of things, such as maybe martial law, confiscating guns, confiscating food and other supplies if need be to redistribute it. So those are things to think about. With the Dow hitting 23,000 today, you've got all these people who are optimistic, thinking it's great. It's quite the opposite, folks. That is the biggest domino of all of them. Picture me and you and all of us are dominoes, and we're all stacked out there. You've seen those videos on YouTube and online of those, you know, there's 500,000 dominoes set up in a gymnasium somewhere, and it's making this beautiful pattern. And it only takes one little domino at the beginning to knock it, and it's all gone. And that's where America sits right now. All of us are lined up just perfectly where they want us to be. And there's about 4 or 5 dominoes at the beginning of that row. And one of them is North Korea, and another one is World War III, and another one is Civil War and the impending things that may start with the Antifa nonsense on November 4th. And the big domino that's at the very beginning of the line is economic collapse. Well, you can knock any one of those down, and the rest of the line is going to go. It's gone. It's not going to take much. America is more fragile now than it's ever been. And it's not going to take much, and it's gone. And you will be living in a very different country in a very short period of time. You won't recognize America within a space of about 72 hours. It'll change fast. And I still think that in my mind, my money's on the economic collapse as being the first domino. And they're setting it all up, folks. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we have to kind of talk about how this can happen. America is supposed to be a representative republic. You got a lot of people who go around thinking it's a democracy. It's not. It was set up to be a representative republic. It's not even that, folks. We live in an oligarchy. The world right now is an oligarchy. If you don't know what that is, let me explain it to you very briefly, short and to the point. An oligarchy means that a very few people, a handful of people who are very rich and very powerful, are the ones pulling all the strings. It doesn't matter who you elect, it doesn't matter what you do behind the polls, it doesn't matter where you go or what you say. There are very few powerful, strong, rich people who are going to say when it happens, how it's going to happen. They start wars, they end wars, they start economic collapses, they end them. And Soros is one of them that's in there. And there's tons of others. I won't go into all that. It takes forever. But when the oligarchy decides that they're done with Trump, and he's different. I admit I wasn't a Trump supporter early on, but after seeing what he's done and seeing him in office, I see that he has upset the establishment, the oligarchy, the New World Order, they hate him. He's his own man. He's self-made. He's rich. He doesn't need their money. He doesn't need to listen to what they say, and it's pissing them off. So what do they want to do? They want him down. Who else wants him down? The left wants him down. The radical leftists, Antifa, and all those people, they want him down. ISIS and all the other terrorist groups, they want him down because they're scared of him. Lil' Kim wants him down. That man has more enemies right now than anyone else. And if they can find some way to bring him down and to bring all of this onto him and let him bear the responsibility of America collapsing, they'd love that more than anything. Well, they've been waiting around. They're hoping that something will happen. They've tried to push us into civil war. They've tried to do this. They've tried to do that. They can push this economic collapse if they want to, folks. I guarantee you. There are a very few powerful people who can pull that string, and that market is gone. It's inflated right now beyond belief, 4 times what it's technically worth right now. Those stocks are not worth anything where they're at right now. We're $20 trillion in debt in this country. The economy is not as great as it's being propped up to be. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. You can't stick a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound and expect it to hold for very long. It's going to go. And when that sucker goes, it's going to go big and it's going to go fast. And you're going to see that market go from 20 whatever thousand down to below 10,000 in the space of about 24 to 36 hours. And it's going to be Katie bar the door. What my grandparents lived through in the Great Depression is going to look like a Sunday picnic compared to what's coming. And it's like Pastor Joe always tells you on Viking Preparedness, and you've heard me preach it too, if you're anywhere near the cities and you live in the cities, get out. Get out yesterday. Find you a place in the country. Get with family that's in the country. You do not want to be in the big cities because the cities will eat themselves alive when this finally hits. They want Trump to fail. They want to be able to put all the blame on him that they can so that they can get their highly liberal socialist government in that they wanted so badly. They still have a horrible taste in their mouth because Hillary did not win. The election was rigged to get her in. It didn't work. They're mad. So how do they make that happen now? How do they get her in there or get someone else in there that's even just as powerful and just as bad? They've got to hang all of this collapse on Trump. So if they can get the economic collapse to happen, he'll take the fall, he'll take the blame. Another big thing to watch for that lets me believe it's coming very soon is you got midterm elections coming in 2018. They're not going to want to keep control of everything to the Republicans, even though they're all a worthless bunch of idiots right now. They're not doing anything they promised they were going to do. They still don't want them in control, so they're not about to let that happen. So how else can they get everybody to go and sway their vote and go liberal next time and vote Democrat? Collapse everything down. Get the economic collapse to happen. Get the war to happen. Get this Antifa thing rolling so that civil war kicks in. Who's going to take the blame? The Republicans. They're the ones in control. You got a Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate. Oh, look at what happened under all the conservatives. America's a mess. They're going to love that and have a heyday with it when it finally hits. And it'll all get blamed on the conservatives. And then look out. So that's my thoughts on it, folks. I know there's a lot out there who agree with me. There's still a lot of people that have their heads buried in the sand. They don't want to hear it. You can ignore it all you want. It's still coming. You've heard me say it before. America is not coming back, but Jesus is. And you better have your stuff together, folks. I want you to have your supplies together. I want you to have your food and water and medical stuff put together and everything else, and guns and ammo to protect what you have, because someone who didn't prepare is going to want to come after what you've got. So be ready to defend your family and your supplies, because the time is drawing near. Mark my word. Check out people. Don't just take my word on this stuff. Look up these resources. Watch the market history. Look at some of the reports on what it's done. 30 years ago this week was the anniversary of a huge collapse. Check out Gerald Celente at Trends Research. Check out Paul Craig Roberts, who worked under the Reagan administration. There are so many smart economists out there who know what they're talking about, who will tell you straight out what I'm telling you, that this market is a big joke and it's nothing but a big illusion. It makes you think about the Wizard of Oz, and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. there's a man back there behind the curtain that's artificially doing all this and raising all these numbers up to unbelievable levels. And they've artificially inflated this market, and it's coming down. Well, as always, I thank you for watching. I pray for you. I want you to get your supplies together as soon as you can, folks, because time is running short. And I want you to be able, when I ask that question at the end of every video, I want you to be able to answer with a resounding yes when I ask, are you ready?